Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Jen with Lodo Family, and we've got another menu of 6 dinners for under $60. Here's just a brief overview of the 6 meals we're going to make. So let's get into each of the meals, and I can give you some tips and tricks along the way. Oops, I almost forgot to go over the shopping list. As you can see, there's kind of a mix of all over the store, so we've broken it up into separate categories. This just makes it more efficient so you don't have to keep going around the store to get everything. Now, our total came out to $59.98. This was at the Super Walmart in Charleston, South Carolina. It is on our high cost of living area list, so your prices may be cheaper. You may also have some of these items already in your pantry or freezer or fridge, so definitely double check that. The only thing we assume is that you already have some type of cooking oil, maybe a little flour or cornstarch. You would need some salad dressing for one of the meals, just for a side salad. And then, of course, your favorite seasonings. So you could very easily get this total way less. And then don't forget that in the description below, I've got a link where you can go see all of these slides as well as download your own free printable PDF. It includes all the shopping list as well as all the recipes. So let's get into the meals. So for the first night, we're going to do a lemon pepper chicken with sweet potatoes and broccoli. It's basically a sheet pan meal, but we're going to add things at different times. Now, this is very, very simple. If you don't happen to like lemon pepper, you could easily swap this out for something else. But because we're going to buy a big pack, a family size pack of chicken breasts, and we've got to open it up to get out the first night's stuff. So, and we've got to cut up the chicken. So I would just go ahead and cut up all my chicken for the whole week. And I can do spoiler alert here. All the chicken that we're going to use this week is going to need to be cut down. So what I would do for this meal is I would take out 2 to 3 chicken breasts, and depending on the size, because some of them get really big, I would cut them in half or I would cut them into thirds. Just nice, almost like palm size, chunks, just so that they cook quicker. And then the rest of the chicken breasts that are in this package, I would just go ahead and cut them up into like 1 to 2 inch pieces. Not only does that help cook faster, but this will prevent you from having to get the cutting board out later and having to cut the chicken 2 more times down the road. This will just save you some steps. So after we cut our chicken, remember this one's just going to be like bigger chunks, and we're going to season them with some of our lemon pepper or whatever seasoning you like. We're going to put them down. I like to go ahead and spray my pan just so that way no sticking, or put down a piece of parchment paper, whatever works for you. And then after that, I'm going to go ahead and take my sweet potatoes and chop them up into 1 inch thick chunks. Now, I know there's always a great debate about whether or not to peel your sweet potatoes or not. Personally, I don't, just because you know what? Those peels add fiber, and who doesn't need fiber? But if you want to peel them, totally up to you. Either way, I'm just going to drizzle them with a little bit of cooking oil. Now, if you really like lemon pepper, you could go ahead and add the lemon pepper to the sweet potatoes. Otherwise, I just tend to do very simple. Maybe some onion powder, maybe some garlic powder, some salt and pepper. Call it done. And then we're going to bake this all in the oven for about 30 minutes. At the 30-minute mark, we're going to add in our broccoli. And the only reason why we're adding it later is because I like roasted broccoli, but I don't like charred broccoli. And the longer you have it in the oven, it does kind of get pretty charred. So that's up to you. And then you just bake it for another 15 to 20 minutes. And by that time, your chicken is done, your sweet potato is done, and your broccoli is perfect. So super, super easy. The next night, we're going to do a meatball stroganoff, okay? And this very much reminds me of if you've ever had like the Hamburger Helper stroganoff, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to take about half of our 2-pound bag of meatballs, and we're just going to, they're already cooked most of the time, depending on which brand you get. So we're just going to basically heat them up, okay? So we put them in a pan. I usually do it with a little bit of water, just steam them, get them all nice and hot. And then at this point, you can either leave them as whole meatballs, you can cut them in half. I actually like to just pull all the meatballs out, put them on my my cooking, I can't talk today, my cutting board. Okay, whoo. And then I just let them cool for a minute until I can touch them, and then I quarter them. And that's because I have smaller kids. If you have bigger kids, you could just leave them whole. Totally up to you. And Sometimes you get meatballs that are only this big. Sometimes you get them that are real big. It'll just really depend on what size you buy and what size you already have. So once you do that, we're just going to do it hamburger helper style, where it is all in the same pan. You're going to add your liquid, you're going to add your noodles, and then you're just going to bring it to a boil, let it, finish cooking. And then the trick is we're going to add that sour cream at the end, and it's going to make it all nice and creamy. For the carrots, you could easily do this with fresh carrots. It is just a little bit cheaper to do it with the canned carrots. And I'm just going to saute them in a pan with butter. And I usually just add some garlic or just whatever seasoning I'm feeling like this week. So super easy. Okay, so this next recipe is for chicken and green bean casserole. I am a huge fan of green bean casserole, so I just immediately wanted to try this. And afterwards, my husband and I had this great debate. And basically, the way that the original recipe stated was you put down your chicken, you put down your green beans, you mix your soup and your milk together, and you pour it over top, and then you top it with the stuffing mix. Okay. I felt that it was just a little too crunchy because you have maybe half an inch to an inch layer of stuffing on top where it doesn't really get super moist. So what I would do, because I'm not a huge fan of ultra crunchy, is I would mix everything together in a bowl, pour it into your cooking pan, and then I would just have saved about half a cup of the stuffing and use that as a crunchy topping. But it's really just going to depend on what kind of crunch factor you like. Now, if you're not a big fan of the green beans, you can easily swap this out with like broccoli or any other vegetable you like. You could even just do a bag of mixed veggies. The final result, my husband says, it swears just like a chicken pot pie. So this is very well adaptable. Really take a look and see what you already have, and then determine your vegetable on this one. Okay, so this next one also has some options. So it's going to be a shrimp pesto pasta with some summer squash. Now, depending on your area, and if you're seeing this maybe much later, if the yellow squash is not on sale or a good price, you could easily substitute this with zucchini. You can actually get a bag of frozen. So the vegetable, you could easily change that out depending on price. So for this, we're going to use, it's called a pesto sauce pack. It's usually in that section where all the seasoning packets are. The one I found was made by Knorr, but there's plenty of other brands. And basically, we're going to go ahead and boil our water for the pasta. And in a skillet, we're just going to saute our minced garlic to get that flavor going. We're going to add in our seasoning packet. This one called for 3/4 of a cup of water and a 1/4 cup of oil. And then we're just going to bring that to a boil and then reduce it and let it simmer. And this is what makes the sauce kind of thicken up. At this point, we're going to go ahead and add our shrimp. And we're just going to keep stirring while it thickens, because the frozen shrimp, it is going to get off some liquid. So you're going to keep it stirring to keep it thicker. And then you'll know that the shrimp is done because it'll turn that beautiful pink color. And then I just kind of throw in the diced tomatoes at the end for that burst of color and flavor. And then I mix in my pasta so it's all one. But you could easily keep your pasta separate and put the shrimp and the sauce on top of it if you don't like it all mixed together. With the summer squash or whatever vegetable you want, I actually typically go ahead and throw it in with the garlic at the beginning because I like it all as one. But sometimes my kids are picky and they don't want everything all mixed together. So you could easily just saute your summer squash in another pan. And that way you would have your pasta, your shrimp and sauce, and your squash all separate. So all of these are really to get that idea going. And then you can modify them to work for your family. Okay, I absolutely love rice bowls. And this one's going to be a chicken fiesta rice bowl. Now we're going to use up our chicken. What I usually do is I start by sauteing the bell pepper in the pan first, get it nice and tender, and then I'm going to throw in my chicken, cook that, and then we're going to add in our black beans and our corn. I like to give them a big rinse and then, drain all the liquid off first and then put them in. And then I chose to do this with one of the Mexican rice packs. And the reason for that is it actually came out cheaper than to buy a bag of rice and seasoning. Now, granted, if I bought a bag of rice, I would have rice for a couple extra meals, but in order to keep this under $60, it was cheaper to do it as a pack. So if you don't want to buy a pack, all you would do is do 1 cup of white rice and then as much taco seasoning as you would like. I would guess probably about 1/3 to 1/2 of a pack, or, just kind of eyeball it if you already have taco seasoning at home. And then you add your water. So everything's, and you're basically just cooking rice. So you bring it up to a boil, you let it simmer. You've got it. These Knorr rice packs, they're actually parboiled rice where it's already half cooked. So it only takes about 7 minutes. If you're using white rice, it could probably take about 20 minutes. And then here's the best part to me. So I usually put this at the bottom of the plate or the bowl. And then I'm going to top it with some of the chopped lettuce, the diced tomatoes, do some shredded cheddar cheese, and then like a big old dollop of sour cream. And we already have those things on the list. So that's a very good way to repurpose ingredients to where you're using them all up, but it's not the exact same dish every time. Okay, I saved this one for last, and that is because this is my kids' new obsession. Okay, they absolutely love it. And it's funny because they don't always like meatball subs, but they really love this. So you have 2 different options here. You can get egg roll wrappers or wonton wrappers. We tend to go with whatever is cheaper, but I can tell you that the wonton wrappers, even though they're smaller, I feel like you get more of them. And then the egg roll wrappers tend to be a little large. So you'll just have to play that one by ear about which one will work best for your family. But basically, you're just going to heat up the meatballs because they're frozen and most of them are pre-cooked. And once those are done, I just pull them off to the side. And you can just do a real rough chop on these and get these kind of small. Or if you're doing the egg roll wrappers, you might just want to cut each meatball in half so they're not as big. But like I said, it just depends on the size of the meatball. So on our wrappers, we're going to put down a little, I do just like a little bit of sauce, then I put my meat and then maybe a little bit more sauce. And then I put my shredded mozzarella. And then if we're going to do this egg roll style, you just fold over the flaps and roll it up. And then the kicker is you just use your finger with you dip it in water and just kind of hit just the corner to seal it. If you're doing the wontons, I kind of do this catty corner so it looks like a diamond in front of you. I put everything in the middle and then I just fold them over. And then you can either crimp or just use your finger to seal those. And then what I like about this is that you can basically just fry these in oil on your stovetop. You can bake them. They're sometimes not as crispy if you bake them, but you can also air fry them. And we tried the air fryer and I haven't quite perfected it. I had some of them come out a little bit like darker than I would have liked, but some of them came out perfect. So I need to play with that a little bit more. And then whatever tomato sauce I have left over, I just add in some Italian seasoning, and then we can dip our little egg rolls or wontons in there and eat it. And then I just do a super simple side salad, some lettuce, tomatoes, some shredded cheese. And then I've always got some kind of salad dressing in my fridge, and hopefully you do too. So, and then just a super simple side salad, and the kids absolutely love this dinner. I know this time of year with the end of school, my schedule is absolutely hectic. So hopefully one of these dinners or all of these dinners can help you out in a pinch because I really think they're all very, very simple. All are going to take less than 30 or 45 minutes. And honestly, they're just yummy food. And it didn't cost an arm and a leg. So definitely make sure to check the link in the description below because we have a free PDF where you can go ahead and download all the recipes and the shopping list, and you'll be well on your way. So don't forget to check us out on Facebook. We have a very active page over there where we do lots of different meal ideas and, of course, the menus. We also have a Facebook group where you can go and ask any question you like about meal planning, and you can see other people's meal plans. So I hope you have a wonderful week, and thanks again for joining us.